Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Nicole and today's video is all things books in Goodreads. Basically all things Goodreads. Today my 2022 year in books with your personalized reading stats is up, so let's go and review it. Okay, so today I got an update saying my 2022 year in books from Goodreads list is up, so let's go through it together. So first off the bat, I read a total of 25,058 pages, and dude, I cannot believe I went through so many pages, and I read a total of 69 books. Let me go ahead and like this because I am very impressed with myself. My goal was 50 books for the year. So my shortest book this year was 12 and a half by Gary V, and it has a total of 202 pages. I liked the audio because Gary was the one that was reading it and he kind of like sidetracked, so I really enjoyed this book. And I was also going through a little transition from my 9-to-5 to putting in my 2 weeks to not having a job and pursuing what I want to, not for too crazy long, but here I am today. And then the longest book that I read was The Once and Future Witches. I didn't realize how big this book was, but it is pretty big, 517 pages. I went through it. It may have taken me a week or so to read it, but I went through it. My average book length in 2022 was 363 pages, which is a decent amount of books. Then the most shelved book is Where the Crawdad Sings, and almost 4 million people put this on their shelves, as you know, as they should, because this book was really good. I read this book twice and I watched the movie. 10 out of 10 recommend this book. I love the journey where it took us to, but honestly it was a great book. I rated it a 5 out of 5. And then of course my least shelved was 12 and a half, again by Gary V. My average rating for the year was a 4.8, which I think is a decent amount of ratings. I didn't rate too many books because I didn't feel like I knew how to rate books, but if I felt like a book deserved a 5 or a 4, I went ahead and I rated it. And of course the highest rated on Goodreads was Where the Crawdad Sings. I rated it a 5 out of 5. My first review of the year was Good Girl Bad Blood, which, let me tell you, I freaking love this series. Okay, as you can see, immediately after reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I started this one. I'm so glad I had the hard copy because I would have missed the images. The way Holly Jackson structured her books is amazing. The audio was also insane. I loved how it was literally a movie for my ears. Everybody had a voice and it wasn't just the same person like trying to be somebody else. It was, I loved this series, and if I could tell you to read anything, I would say read this series if you're kind of into like mysterious young adult like podcasting. Very, very great books. These are all the books that I read this year, starting off with Shipped. Things You Save in a Fire was honestly a really great one. I did read the Sweet Magnolia books. Then you can see I read my first Michael Connelly book, The Lincoln Lawyer. Amazing. Long Bright River, Tears, the same with Instructions for Dancing. I love that book. The Unhoneymooners, I read that book twice this year. Back to the Burbs takes me back to where I used to live because I was literally right around the corner where this book took place, and I freaking loved it. I was probably like 30 minutes away. And then you can see I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, the entire series back to back, and I have all of these books in my car. So I loved this series, and it was the only series that I read in complete this year. Definitely recommend it. As you can see, I got me some spicy books. I got Hate Notes, Boss Man. Then we got The Invitation, Vikingland, probably the best in my opinion, with spicy books and like a little bit of everything. So Vikingland, thank you for making these books. The Night Swim, I read it twice, but it was honestly very, very sad. Then we got Book Lovers. This book, oh my goodness, a 10 out of 10. I would highly recommend. And it also got the Goodreads Choice 2022 winner for the romance book. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Honestly, don't judge a book by its cover, but this one, I freaking love this book, and you can see I rated it a 5 out of 5. My first Colleen Hoover book, Regretting You. Oh my goodness, the journey, the experience that I went through with this book, insane. But honestly, it was a great book. I rated it a 5 out of 5. The next book that I absolutely love this year, Part of Your World, 10 out of 10. Freaking recommend. This is the book that just made me feel so happy and like, you know, just enjoy life. That's what it made me think throughout reading this book and at the end of this book. The next book that I really enjoyed, That Guy by Kim Jones. Hello, spicy, hilarious. Oh my goodness. Read that book if you get a chance. Highly recommend it. Then I read the Bromance Book Club. This series, oh my goodness, it's hilarious, and it's read by a male, so it's male's perspective. And oh my goodness, this book, the emotional roller coaster that I went through, insane. But I freaking loved this book. So if you could read a book, read that one. Okay, totally recommend it. Getting Schooled, Getting Played, those two also took place in New Jersey. It was probably like an hour, almost 2 hours away from where I lived, but still, a few of the references I got, I loved those books. How to Fail Flirting, that was a great book. Thank you for listening. Another of my top 3 books that I loved this year, and I want this book. Like, I genuinely, the next time I see this book at the next time I see this book at Barnes & Noble, any bookstore, honestly, I am gonna buy this book. I had the chance and I didn't because I was moving, but things have changed and I want this dang book. Billion Dollar Enemy was a great book. Mermaid Inn has a special place in my heart. The same with the Safe Haven book, amazing. What If You and Me, also a great book. Here we have The Once and Future Witches, awesome book. The Change, oh my goodness, what an amazing book. Honestly, it has a little slow start, but once it gets into the thick of it, let me tell you, it's a great book. And we're going through like 3 witches experiences and all of this. I don't know, it's great going through everybody's lives and backstories and current stories. Love this book. I think I rated this one a 5 out of 5. No, I didn't even rate it at all, but I'm telling you, a 5 out of 5 because it was such a great book. The next book, I started moving, and then the first book that I read on my road trip, Tom Segura, I'd Like to Play Alone Please. Awesome book, hilarious. I felt like I know Tom Segura in a different kind of light. Definitely recommend that book. If you're into comics, he's great. And I saw him live this year, which amazing. The Dead Romantics, totally not what I expected. The Kiss Quotient, this book I read within 24 hours, so go ahead and check that video out. It ends with us, the roller coaster that I went through with this book. I know I keep saying that, but it honestly is a good book. I know everybody and their mothers talks about Colleen Hoover, but with a reason, because this book, it does have trigger warnings, a little DV, well, kind of a lot of DV, but I'm so proud of what the character, what she did, and the authors know. Thank you for putting that in there, and thank you for writing this book. The book that took me by surprise, The Life We Bury. Oh my goodness, I read this book within a day because I was driving, and oh my god, I could not put this book down. Like, there was not a spot where I could catch my breath because something was happening and it had me on edge. Like, I was awake the like 5 hours that I had this book playing. Totally recommend this book, and I really enjoyed it. I hope I rated it a 5 out of 5. I sure did. It was amazing. Then the next book, It Starts With Us, continuation of It Ends With Us. It was a great book. I did read The Dash and Lily, the first book. It was okay. I expected more. I like the Netflix series a little bit better, so it is what it is. Then The Shadows We Hide. It was great. It's book 2 of the main character's journey and like a continuation of his life. I enjoyed the first book way better, but still I rated it a 4 out of 4. And then the last book that I read this year, I have another book, but the one that I officially finished reading, Undercover Bromance. I'm trying to get to book 5, but this is the second book out of the book club, and oof, I loved it. I loved the first one better, but this one still has a male character. It still has all the feels in it. It still has a good amount of chili peppers. So definitely, honestly, I just recommend any of these books. Like, give them a shot, see what you think. But a total of 69 books that I read. I'm on my 70th book today, but here we are. And then my last review, maybe someday. But yeah, that's pretty much my Goodreads books of the year, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. Honestly, I'm really shocked that I went through so much this year, but I'm really happy that books were really consistent in my life, even though I took some breaks. But then I also went back to back listening to books, reading books, and I am so thankful for my first year on Goodreads that I read as many books, and I can't wait to see what 2023 is gonna look like. But honestly, I'm probably gonna switch my reading goal to 60, since I got almost through 70 books this year, and we're still not at the end of the year. Come on, it's the 16th of December. I could still read a good like 3 or 4 more books. Something I didn't mention was my 3 top books for the year. The first one being Book Lovers. Absolutely loved that book. Like, that is my number 1 book that I want to buy. It was a great book. Totally recommend that book. The second book has to be Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Oh my goodness, that's also a great book. Had me pondering, like, at the end of that, making me feel all kind of feelings, but totally recommend that book. And then the last book is Thank You for Listening. Also, my heart, I loved everything about that book. I loved the author's note. I love when she wrote it. I loved everything. So if I can recommend any books to you, I would say read those 3 books. Yeah, that's pretty much it for my 2022 review of my Goodreads. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I would love to see your guys's end books, see what you read this year. Maybe we have the same taste, maybe we dislike the same books, who knows. But let me know in the comments section, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.